So everyone knows about Life is Strange and Max Caulfield's adventure with her time rewinding powers, and her journey of uncovering the mystery of Arcadia Bay, alongside her best friend, Chloe Price. Life is Strange is extremely loved and praised, rightfully so. A small town mystery, high school drama, superpowers, and most importantly, extremely valuable life lessons. I mean, what isn't there to love? But what happens when you take the best friend of the main character, drop her in her own prequel, and focus less on the mystery aspect of this franchise? Well, you get Before the Storm, a game full of teenage love, drama, stupidity, and the second best ship in the whole franchise. So why is Before the Storm not talked about as much as the first game? And is it as good as Life is Strange 1? Or could it even be better? I promise all these questions will be answered, but first, we have to kick off our journey with our main punk rocker herself. So Chloe Price, of course not rocking her iconic blue hair yet, since this game is set about 3 years prior to the original. But she's still just as cool, as we can clearly see based on the fact that she's trespassing, because, only cool people do that. And we're trying to get into this mill to see a band called Firewalk, but this bouncer is making our job just a little bit difficult. And here we get introduced to Chloe's power. Well, not actually a power, but this mechanic is called backtalk. And we basically have to use different insults or lines to try and win our argument or just convince the other person of something. It's pretty funny. It's not as important or game defining as Max's power is, but it's still something fun to make you laugh and keep you on your toes a bit. So we make it into the mill, and in here is bad vibes city. There are sketchy looking dudes, people drinking, people on the floor, and drug dealers. Oh, shoot, it's Frank from the first game. Yeah, when you see him around, then it's probably not the best crowd. So we can talk to him a bit and try to get some free lettuce. And obviously that does not work, so onwards with our main mission. We try to push through the crowd to get into the little mosh pit, but clearly that is not working. And then we bump into Machine Gun Kelly's brother and spill his beer by accident. He's being just creepy enough to the point where Chloe Delta's out of there. So we go up some rotted stairs and then get the best view in the house of Firewalk. But things are not as fun as they seem, because that same guy whose beer we spilled, yeah, he followed us up here. He's still mad about it, and right before he cuts us up like a Christmas ham, some random woman calls him out. Now we can either choose to attack the guy or run away. I honestly thought Chloe had hands, but she got folded instantly. Like, god dang. And after getting cooked, we figure out that this girl's actually Rachel Amber, the same girl who went missing by the time Life is Strange 1 starts. But right now, she's here and is helping us make our escape. So we get away, and Frank the GOAT actually holds back the two dudes chasing us. And he's honestly a pretty decent guy in this game. Well, besides the fact that he sells drugs to teenagers. But he's clearly not as jaded, cynical, and mean, I guess, as he is in the first game. Chloe and Rachel get to the mosh pit now and absolutely tear it up. They're having the time of their life. And I cannot play any of this music because copyright, but just know it's pretty tough. Now, I know it's only their first encounter, but this scene just shows how much fun Chloe and Rachel will really have together. But we'll talk about it a bit more later, because right now it's the next morning and we're back in Chloe's room. I'll be honest, the nostalgia of the first game hit me like a brick when I saw that sunlight just like peering through the window a bit. It honestly reminded me of that moment from episode 3 of the first game where Chloe and Max are laying down together, and it just brought all the feels, honestly. And the music they play here too is gorgeous. Of course it is. It's Life is Strange. The soundtrack is always tough. So now is probably the best time to talk about Before the Storm's soundtrack. And do I even have to say much? Once again, the music is top tier. There's tons of different songs in this game, but a majority of them were produced by Daughter, which is a music trio from Europe. And I'm so glad they got picked for this project, because just from one interview, I could just clearly tell how passionate they all are. One of the members, Elaine Natanra, I pray I'm saying that right, talks about how they always strive to make sure whatever they make is better than the last. I know it's a pretty common goal, but just knowing that the music provided is actually made by passionate people really means a lot. And yeah, this whole game soundtrack is just tough, like I said. But right now we stink of dirty mosh pit energy and beer, so it's time to change clothes. And they actually give us the option to pick the outfit we want, so pretty cool. I went pretty basic with the white tee, but hey, Chloe's way too cool to try, right? Try to find our phone, but it's nowhere here, so we look for Joyce's so we can call ours. And I'll just say this right now, I really don't have much issues with this game. This is one of the few, honestly, and even then it's just a nitpick. But some dialogue is just a little bit too obvious. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, many times Chloe will say, well, guess I better do this.
Guess I better try calling my phone with Mom's. Mom's phone is probably in her room. I can use it to call mine.
Or she'll plainly say what we have to do, even though it was just mentioned. Like, there's a scene later on in the train where Rachel tells you to pull up a chair or something, and then Chloe says to herself, like, well, guess I better sit down now. And again, I know it's a bit of a nitpick. I just wanted to get that out there real quick. But other than that, though, I do not really have issues with this game. And it's not really a huge problem or anything. Our phone is nearby, so we go and collect that. And then we head downstairs for breakfast. We get downstairs and see Joyce again, been a while, and have a not so pleasant conversation about how Chloe has been skipping school, breaking her curfew, and how she probably shouldn't say that she hates her mom's new boyfriend. This is clearly right in the middle of a teenage rebellion arc, and the Chloe we see here is not the Chloe we know from the first game. Well, not yet at least. Of course, partly due to the fact that this is not the same voice actress from Life is Strange 1. In the original game, she was voiced by Ashley Birch, hope it's Birch and not Burke or something, who did a phenomenal job and brought so many different emotions and feelings to Chloe. And in this game, she's voiced by Rihanna DeVries. I hope I'm saying that right as well. Rihanna did a great job in my opinion. The change is noticeable, of course, but Rihanna brought this feeling of uncertainty and less confidence to Chloe that makes sense as she's much younger than when we last saw her. She isn't as sure of herself and what she's doing, and especially when it comes to things like dealing with her emotions and wondering if what she's doing is right. All in all, Rihanna is a great voice actress, and I'm glad she was picked for Chloe. And fun fact, she actually gave herself a black eye before. I don't know what to do with that information, so I just thought I'd tell y'all. We finish up our conversation with Mom, and we can either try to be understanding or just lay into David. I was understanding because I know it's not entirely Joyce's fault, and she's going through tough times right now too. Our time's about to be much tougher though, considering the fact that Step Douche is actually giving us a ride to school. So in the car, we get another backtalk moment and get to absolutely fry David. I was literally grinning ear to ear watching this go down. So after showing him who's the boss, we fall asleep and then we wake up in dreamland. And then we know it's a dream because William, Chloe's dad, is alive and driving us. Not for long though, because a truck just comes in and crashes and wakes us up. This game does that a lot, you'll see later. So we get out of Step Douche's car, and before we can even take a couple steps, our friend Elliot, I'm putting a lot of quotes around friend, and you guys will see later. But he stops us, and he seems like he's supposed to be the Warren of this game, I guess. And I liked Warren in the first game, so I assumed I would like this guy. That was not the case. So somehow Elliot and the entire school heard that we hung out with Rachel Amber last night. I guess news spreads fast at Blackwell. We have to get a DVD from Steph, another student at Blackwell. And another cool little feature that they added is you can look at Chloe's hand to figure out what your objective is. And we meet Mikey, a friend of Steph's as well. They ask if we want to play a D&D game real quick, and of course I said yes. I haven't gotten the chance to play D&D in real life yet, but I'd be so down to try it. I have played a bit of Baldur's Gate 3 though. So we play D&D and it's pretty fun. Steph and Mikey are really cool characters, and Steph is a pretty good DM. When we're all finished up with the game though, right before we can even walk into Blackwell, we see the main man himself, Nathan Prescott, getting bullied by a jock named Drew North. Drew is here on financial aid, and his dad lost his job after the Prescotts shut down the shipyard. So times are of course pretty tough right now for Drew's family. Also, Mikey, the same kid we played D&D with, is actually Drew's brother, so good to know. So while Drew and Nathan are in the middle of the little conflict, this girl steps and tells us to do something, and I'll just stand here and watch. I was genuinely baffled, like, listen to my reaction.
You guys! Stop!
Bro, who is this?
Chloe, do something!
Me?
They're watching!
So we use backtalk to get this peanut to stop harassing Nathan, and then the guy isn't even grateful. I'm probably being a bit harsh since I know Nathan's already a dickwad and no one really owes us their gratitude, but that's still kind of crazy. Okay, all these interruptions. So Rachel drags us to the drama club and we get to see some behind the scenes of The Tempest, a play that's happening at Blackwell in like a day or something. After some questionable reactions to Rachel's outfit,
Looking good, Rach.
Very cool.
are those feelings of instant passion just inexperience and infatuation? Or is it true love? And while Rachel's asking this in regards to the play, this is really just the game hinting at us that Chloe has a bit of feelings for Rachel, and especially throughout the game, even though they barely spent time together in the grand scheme of things, it does feel like true love, even though it could be seen as infatuation and passion. As of right now, I think it's infatuation. So in regards to the play, I called Miranda idiot. Yeah, my bad. Rachel goes to change and we bring in her belt. We could banter or throw it over, and Chloe is not catching a case on my watch, so best believe I launched it like Tom Brady. We talk about Firewalk and how we wish it didn't end, and Rachel actually wants to ditch school, which to Chloe's like asking if a kid wants candy. And also, since we got clocked last night in the face, Rachel helps us cover up our little black eye. So we leave campus and Chloe turns to Nathan Drake and jumps onto a moving train, like one of those ones with the cargo and stuff. Maybe I just had a bad childhood, but I have honestly never seen this type of train once before, I think. Yeah, pretty weird. So we pull up a seat, and this right here is exactly what I'm talking about.
Pull up a chair, Price. The view's amazing.
Rachel wants me to pull up a chair. Maybe one of these crates.
Like, Chloe, I know I have to sit down. It's not actually that bad. I'm exaggerating. It's actually pretty funny, honestly, but I just wanted to point it out. So we do some A-tier flirting,
It's nice weather we're having. Having
then
friends.
just yap with Rachel
You
about
have friends.
literally any and
Well,
everything.
I used
It's pretty
to.
casual conversation, but Chloe's just
Singular.
beginning to come out of her
Her name's
shell
Max,
and talk
and
about
she left
stuff
for
like
greener,
Max
more
leaving her and things
northern
like
pastures.
that. After even more A-tier flirting,
The V-card's been punched, Rachel. I'm sorry.
we played 2 truths and 1 lie with Rachel, which actually ties in a lot with the end of the game, but we'll get there later, so don't forget this moment here. This whole game is meant to be fun, yeah, but we also just learn a bit about Rachel from playing it, like where she's from and how ambitious she really is when we hear her say things like she's gonna climb Everest someday. And without any knowledge about her future, this seems really nice and upbeat, honestly. A young girl with big dreams who's determined to accomplish them. And you can't help but root for her, honestly. But of course, with context, every line she utters in this game just gets sadder and sadder when you know her fate. And I also struggled with that a bit while playing this game, making some choices in the beginning because I knew things weren't going to turn out well anyways. But life is about living now, and if you do or don't do things because of fear, then you can't say you really lived. And in a lesser way, if I did or didn't do things in this game because I know how things would end, then I couldn't say I really played or fully experienced the game, at least in my opinion. So after a bit more talking, we get to share our music with Rachel, and you guys know I love scenes like this. Ones where you don't have to leave until you choose to. The ones where it feels like time completely stops and it's just you there. Man, I'm a sucker for these. After that though, Rachel tells us to jump, and we jump off the literal moving train. We reach some park, and it has a pretty nice view, honestly. While we're here, Rachel wants to play another game involving improv of some sort, but the viewfinder she put her quarter into is broken. Really, guys, we can read the sign. So it's either find a new quarter or get the old one out of it. And I do not think we're gonna get a new one.
Hey, spare some change?
Sorry, we might have some leftover food when we're done.
What? No, I'm not. What kind of food?
So I will unfortunately admit that it took me a painful amount of time to figure out how to rip this off the bench, but we'll ignore that. So we play this improv game where we act out what people are saying, and it's pretty funny, honestly. But maybe not to Rachel anymore. Her whole mood just changed up a bit after we saw this couple making out, which is a bit odd. But now she wants to get drunk, so classic 16-year-old, I guess. Listen, when I was 16, I was playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and failing math classes, so clearly Rachel is living the life right now. That same couple who thought we were homeless has a nice bottle of wine that's just up for grabs, apparently. So naturally, the first thing in Rachel's mind is to pretend to faint and have us just soup it up. We almost get it done, but right when they turn around, we got to use back talk to get the guy here to unlock his hidden potential, as we say, and save her life. And we get our bottle and dip out of here. Our journey leads us to a very special junkyard that'll soon become iconic. Rachel isn't feeling too great though and just wants to sit down and chill by herself. Chloe's pretty pissed that this mood swing came out of nowhere, and then they get in an argument. You can either tell Rachel this is a friendship or something more, and I'm no love doctor, but this seems like something to me. And it really just is such an emotional scene, but I'll shut up and just let the clip play.
You know, like a friendship, but more. Ah. I know. Weird, right? It's just today was the best day I've had since my dad died. And when I almost ruined it just now, the way I ruin everything, it made me realize whatever's going on between us is special.
So despite our best efforts, Rachel still leaves, and Chloe is, of course, extremely happy about that.
Fuck this place.
And all that smashing leads us to William's car, and Chloe just breaks down and lets it all out. This whole last 5 minutes really shows us exactly what kind of headspace she's in right now. She doesn't really have anyone left who she cares about besides her mom. And right when she thought she was connecting with someone else, she was abandoned again. Just like how Max left her. And in her own way, just like how she feels her dad left her. And she's so full of anger, just breaking everything in sight, letting out all the feelings she's been bottling up. It's so heartbreaking to see this cool punk rocker we loved from the first game just be so broken and angry here. But we wake up and we're back in Dreamland, or I should say Nightmare Land, since we can see texts from my mom saying she doesn't need us anymore, and Max saying she'll see us when we're dead. I promise, that's not funny at all, but just seeing the picture of like A 13-year-old Max being this evil is crazy. But this nightmare quickly turns into a dream again when we see Rachel then wake up. After leaving the junkyard, we find Rachel standing by a tree, and she tells us that the same couple we saw making out, well, the guy was her dad, but the woman was not her mother. Now, getting a revelation like that at this age is honestly nothing short of heartbreaking, and it feels like your whole world is destroyed, like everything you know is gone. She's extremely angry, of course, and doesn't even know what to do. Chloe does a great job in comforting her, and Rachel has a bright idea to leave Arcadia Bay forever. The two of them just dipping out and never looking back. Sounds like a perfect plan, honestly. Just two 16-year-old girls running away forever. Totally. But before we can even discuss this plan further, Rachel just turns into Johnny Storm and lights the picture of her and her dad on fire. Okay, well, at least she didn't overreact. Oh my gosh, she started a forest fire. So yeah, that was an insane ending, and this is only the first episode, by the way. So we still have a hell of a journey to go on. So we start this episode off and, oh God. Yeah, we're in the principal's office. So probably nothing good will happen here. Basically just a whole bunch of yapping, and Rachel and her parents are here too, actually. Unfortunately, that includes her cheating scumbag father. But the whole point of this meeting is to punish us for skipping. And Rachel actually takes the blame for us here as well and says it was her idea to skip yesterday. We can either go along with the plan or say it's not true so we can help Rachel out a bit. If we go along with the plan like I did, for some reason that means that Rachel can't perform the play that's happening, like literally tonight. And then for Chloe, she's probably, suspended for a week or something. The year, this might be the worst principal I've ever seen. And my high school principal was so mad, they used to throw stuff at his car. So this meeting clearly did not go well, and we have to go clear out our lockers since we're not coming back here. Then Chloe gets the bright idea to leave Blackwell with a bang and graffitis the entire bathroom. I'm sure Victoria was not expecting this. And of course, when we're about to go home, Step Douche is here to make sure vibes are even lower. The conversation is going great, of course, and it gets even worse, actually, when David asks us to empty our pockets.
What the fuck?
And me being the idiot that I am, actually did it. And Chloe actually did not have any drugs on her when this happened, so thank the Lord. I just hate the way David is acting here. Not even an apology for what he just did. Truly a step douche. And to make things even worse, we find out David is moving in. Yeah, hell no, pack it up. It's over. Just go. We get to the junkyard and see a familiar looking truck. Chloe's trying to fix it up a bit, but that's a project for a whole other day because we do not have what's required of us right now. We do find a couple things to take it from like a 2 out of 10 to a 4, but it still needs a lot of work done. And while sitting in the truck, we actually get a call from Frank, who's our dealer. He sounds pretty normal, honestly. Well, suspicious, like he has some sort of agenda. But he's just a cooler and more normal guy than when we see him a couple years later. I mean, he's still a drug dealer who deals to kids, but at least he's chill. So he tells us he will meet us at the junkyard in a few. And with Chloe being the stoner she is, she sparks up, then goes right back into dreamland and sees her dad again. And this one is pretty horrifying, honestly, considering the fact that they were roasting marshmallows on William's dang car. Like, this game is evil, honestly. But of course, this isn't actually dreamland, it's Nightmare Zone. So we get this horrifying shot of William, then we wake up. So Chloe fell asleep while smoking, and I don't smoke, but I'm pretty sure that's a little dangerous. Rachel wakes us up and gives us this mysterious bag as well. We start talking about making our escape out of Arcadia Bay, and we even talk about the meeting with the principal from this morning. We get a sweet little therapy session between the two of them. You can tell Rachel how you hate Blackwell, or even talk about how you hate the dildo with the mustache, aka David. After we vent, it's Rachel's turn, and she doesn't want to talk about her dad. I can't blame her. But seeing Chloe just lean on Rachel like this and feel so comfortable is extremely heartwarming, honestly. Rachel also doesn't really have anyone she feels like she can trust or who understands her. So Chloe is exactly what she needs right now. And on the other hand, Chloe has no one who understands her or who she can trust either, especially because Max is gone. So obviously we know from the first game that Chloe felt like Max abandoned her, and we never knew to what extent Max really just started ignoring and ghosting her. But now we can see here just tons of messages from Chloe to Max, and it is so sad. Chloe has to double or dang it, triple, quadruple text even to get a response sometimes, all because she misses her best friend and needs her more than ever right now. But it's fine because we have Rachel now. Well, not right now because she's leaving the junkyard, but you know what I mean. We also figure out that the bag is full of clothes for us, so we try to get some new outfits on. So I'm pretty broke and cannot afford the deluxe edition, so no bonus outfits for me. But maybe you guys can subscribe and I'll be able to afford a birthday gift for my cousin. He turned 3, but money is tight, so we did not tell him it was his birthday. We get a call from Frank telling us how he's here, and when we get to his RV, we see the same woman who was with Rachel's dad at the park. Small town, right? We get inside and see cute, adorable little baby Pompidou. He made me smile the most in the entire game, honestly. So we gotta get Frank's notebook, and then the completely normal, non-obsessed guy Elliot texts us. But we don't care, so we get back to business. We can also use Backtalk here to figure out who the woman is that came out of Frank's RV. And we figure out that her name is actually Sarah, spelled S-E-R-A. Now, I don't want to look into this too much, but when doing some research for this video, I actually found that the name Sarah is derived from the Latin word Seraphina, meaning, well, fiery / burning or bright. I could be looking into this too much, and probably am, but when you look at Rachel's connection with fire and how she's like this bright star of Blackwell and everyone loves her, it makes just a little bit of sense to me, at least. Let me know what you think in the comments. So after giving Frank his notebook, we actually figure out he needs us to collect $1,000 from Drew North, the same jock that we saw arguing with Nathan yesterday morning. Frank says he'll clear our debt and give us a 10% cut, so it's time to collect. We reach Blackwell, and it's kind of crazy how we just got suspended 4 hours ago and we're already back here, but we see Steph and have a nice little convo with her, one where she asks us if Rachel is single or not. And listen, I didn't want to lie and put a label on anything, especially if we aren't together. So I told Steph that Rachel is up for grabs. Up for grabs? God, that sounds horrible. I told her that she's single and ready to mingle, but don't mingle too long because we still do want a piece of that. We try to enter the dorms. It's locked, of course. We do some rigmarole to steal the groundskeeper's keys, and we head on into the dorm. Well, almost, because the security guard, Skip, stops us. Now, Skip is our homeboy, that's our friend, but we gotta make him just a little bit uncomfortable here. So Chloe does that by talking about her uterus.
Women's business, Skip. As in, my uterus? I need to use the restroom. Glad you asked.
What?
So we get inside and we can be just a little bit nosy. Chloe really channeling her inner Max right now. So we take a little snoop in Elliot's room. Yeah, the guy who was not getting the hint that we don't want to talk to him right now. So him and Chloe actually hooked up a few years ago, and my best bet is that he has not let it go. Well, that doesn't mean he's a creep, right? Okay, never mind. This dude is Googling Chloe's name first, middle, and last. Yeah, creep is an understatement. But maybe that was just before he changed, right? So we leave the weirdo's dorm and make it to Drew's dorm. Now here, I honestly thought I was so smart putting in different numbers and dates that are around his room to try and open his little safe, until I realized that I barely graduated from middle school for a reason. So we asked Steph for a little bit of help. The code was Mikey's birthday, which makes a lot of sense, and we get the money, but then the man of the hour shows up. We tell him we were actually looking for Drew, and then bro actually shows up, so I was terrified. This huge 6'3" football player found out I stole $1,000 from him. Chloe's gonna look like one of those cars in the junkyard. But before we can even do anything, Damon Merrick shows up, and he's not really a nice guy, but he's here to collect. That same 1K that we have, actually. Drew tells us to stay inside with Mikey and not to open the door for any reason. And Drew tells him that he'll get the money because right now bro is slinging oxy to all other football players, which is pretty tragic, honestly. Especially when you realize that he's doing this because his dad lost his job at the shipping yard and he's homeless right now. So his family needs the money. So we can hear Drew getting beat up and can either help him or not. I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you do open the door, then Mikey breaks his arm or something. Well, I don't know what's worse, because once we didn't open the door, Damon broke Drew's leg. He thanks us for keeping Mikey safe, and you can either give him the money back or not. For me, there was absolutely no choice, though, and I gave him the money back. His family needs it much more than a couple drug dealers, you know? So after we leave the dorm, we gotta look for Rachel, because she's here too, actually. Cool. The Tempest is going to start soon, the same play that Rachel got kicked out of, and the drama teacher finds us and asks us again if we believe true love is a lie. Even though we're big-brained and know that the game wants us to reflect on Chloe and Rachel's relationship and whether or not it's actual love or just passionate infatuation, I don't know about y'all, but right now I'm feeling some real true love. We go into the prep room for the actors and see our best friend, Victoria. She's honestly just a little brat. I hate talking about her, but Rachel does walk in as well. And we get a back talk moment where we can actually try and convince her to quit the play. But I kind of failed. No worries though, because Rachel drugs Victoria. Holy hell, we can see her do it too. Now the other side of the world, we figure out that Juliet is stuck in traffic basically, and she has no understudy, meaning that the show cannot go on. But what else could really go wrong, right?
Touché.
Well, since Victoria is out for the count, Rachel takes her spot again, but still no replacement for Juliet. What are we gonna do?
Damn it.
Oh, I guess that. So we're part of the play now. Frank texts us he wants the money pretty bad, but we have much bigger fish to fry because we have an entire script to memorize. Well, just a few lines, but man, I'm so glad. I predicted they would do some insane stuff like that. So I was actually studying the lines before I even went out there. And best believe I got every single line right. I don't know how, but I was cooking. It was a masterful performance. Even though we actually do eventually go off script, and if you're not really paying attention and trying to understand, you might get a little confused with all the olden dialect that Rachel uses. But basically, we can tell Rachel's character to run away with us, even though the two of them are not acting right here. This is all they want, to be together, leave, and just not look back. After a few more scenes, the play is over, and why is this woman here? Is she following us? Whatever, we'll deal with her later. So after the play, Rachel and Chloe are just talking, walking through the street, and we get a cute moment where they can hold hands as well. I know I haven't talked about their relationship too much yet, but it's honestly one of my favorites in the whole series so far. They're just full of so much passion and excitement, like I said earlier, and they're genuinely so fun to watch. Now, even though you do know the culmination of this entire thing, it's still beautiful to see. And even then, nothing is beautiful because it lasts, like I keep repeating. So I try to not really think about their fate too much and be present. We also get to talk more about our whole leaving Arcadia Bay plan, and Rachel asks us what it would take to convince us that she's telling the truth. And best believe I'm not wasting any time. Now, the love is definitely in the air. The vibes are immaculate right now. This kiss was genuinely electric. Again, just so much passion between the two of them. So after that, we go to Rachel's house and try to sneak some clothes and stuff for a little adventure. Keyword, try. Because we get spotted by Rachel's dad, and somehow now we're staying for dinner. So we're helping Rachel's mom. Emphasis on mom, by the way. Rachel's mother to set the table for dinner. And bro, it is clear they got money. Apart from this just being a really nice house, they have this crazy fancy china and all these other stuff. The fanciest thing in my house is probably a Captain Rex Lego helmet. So after setting the table, we all sit and have a lovely meal. Rachel's mom is actually pretty kind and tells us their door is always open if we needed anything. But right after that, the cheating scumbag Dickwad tells us how family is super important and we can't take them for granted, blah, blah, blah. Classic manipulator BS. And we can either attack him for it, verbally, of course, using back talk, or calm Rachel down. I hope this isn't too controversial, but I actually decided to calm Rachel down instead of attacking James because, like Rachel herself said, we just needed to survive this one dinner and then boom, we're out. We're gone, leaving Arcadia Bay and never looking back. But after James says something that Rachel clearly did not like,
Oh, fucking blow me.
we can either distract or explain what Rachel meant by that. And I'm telling you right now, this game has some instances where Chloe said something completely different than what it actually said. I'll just let you listen.
That's just a little inside joke we have together. No, you blow me, Rachel.
What the hell is she
Chloe.
talking about?
Stop.
This actually fried me. I hope y'all think this is as funny as I do. But here Rachel calls out her dad for the cheating and this big argument starts, of course. And it's a cool moment where everything is just tuned out and we get in Rachel's headspace. She's so angry after hearing her dad just blatantly lie to her. And she's been bottling up so much emotions to the point where she hears nothing and just breaks the entire table. And then we get this masterful scene and twist ending.
That woman you saw, that wasn't my mistress. That was your mother.
So yeah, Sarah is actually Rachel's mom. James tells us the entire story about how they met and why exactly he had to let her go. Sarah was an addict and was putting Rachel's life at risk constantly, so James made the decision to look out for his daughter and take care of her. And remember that, by the way. Always doing what he has to take care of his daughter. And he made sure Sarah couldn't hurt her ever again. So when they met at the park when we saw them, Sarah was telling him that she got her life together. But James told her she can't just wake up one day and decide to be a mother, and tells us that the kiss he gave her was actually a kiss goodbye. And maybe because I'm not married yet, but I don't care if it's a kiss goodbye, a kiss hello, a kiss adios, a kiss hasta luego. Any kiss at all when you're with me is crazy, but I guess Rose is just very secure in her marriage, as she says. But we also learned that James sends Sarah money every month as well, as part of their little arrangement. But now Sarah wants to see and meet Rachel, but James will not allow this, saying how drug addiction affects everyone around them, not just the one addicted. So after all of this, Rachel is understandably super overwhelmed and heads to her room. Obviously, though, we can't let her wallow in her sadness alone right now, and Chloe puts some beautiful stars in the ceiling. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire game, with Rachel saying how pointless that the stars are so beautiful, even though they've already been dead for millions of years. And she relates it to her whole family and life, saying how it's pointless and it's all lies. And as Chloe, you can tell her that doesn't make them any less beautiful. And I know I keep saying this so much, but again, it's literally exactly like this whole game and their relationship. Just like the stars, Rachel is unfortunately already technically gone, but we still see her and her relationship with Chloe when they're alive and thriving, and it's as beautiful as ever, no matter their fate. So we're back in dream/nightmare land. Don't worry, guys. Last time, I swear. Well, kinda. But anyways, though, we're on stage with our dad, and we're pretending to be in a car with him. And in the audience, we see like Joyce, David, Rachel's parents, Victoria, yeah, the whole crew. We're trying to fix the car, fix with extremely thick air quotes, and car with even thicker air quotes. And Chloe's going on about how this isn't real, Rachel's parents and family isn't real, none of this is real. And William drops one of the craziest bars in this whole game, honestly.
Maybe there's a reason we pretend. Maybe the lies we tell each other are less horrible than the truths we keep hidden.
And Jesus Christ, who wrote this scene down? I mean, I know it was Chloe's mind, but dang. And unfortunately, Victoria just has the funniest line in the entire game. So we sneak back into our room to give Frank a call because we promised Rachel that we would do our best to find her. And he tells us to meet him at the junkyard in 2 hours. So nice. We go to shower up and find some blue hair dye. Huh. Wonder what that's for. Yeah, I'm kidding. You guys already know. Our girl Chloe is starting to look more and more like the one we know. Not fully blue yet, but she'll complete her arc soon and unlock that look. We head downstairs and we see Joyce being genuinely happy with David. He's making breakfast for her and they're dancing, having the time of their lives. Usually I love scenes where you don't have to leave until you want to, but I don't like seeing David happy, so I hit leave pretty quick. So we tell him we're not staying long, but David actually wants to apologize. Never thought I'd hear or say those words. While his apology does sound pretty sincere, I almost didn't want to take it too serious because, like, I know he's going to be a dickwad later, for the next few years at least. But I did say almost. We could easily be a jerk to David here because we know what happens, but that diminishes the story a little bit, in my opinion at least. It makes the story even more tragic when you realize that it felt like things were starting to look up for Chloe. And David was apologizing, trying to connect with her. She had a Rachel in her life who she trusted more than anything. Things were just seeming better. So this all makes the story much more tragic. David gives us a picture of him and his army buddy who was unfortunately killed by a roadside IED, just as a way to connect with us over grief and let us know he wants to help. You can either take the photo or refuse, and as much as you hate David, I don't think anyone really refused to take the photo here. Yeah, it's pretty hard to say no at this moment. So after the whole interaction, we head to the junkyard and try to fix up the truck before Frank gets here. After a bit of work, we finally get this baby working again. We go on a bit of a joyride. I know it's not in Life is Strange style to let us drive, but man, it would have been pretty cool. After that, though, Rachel shows up, shortly followed by Frank, but things seem a little bit off. Oh, that's why. Yeah, this guy Merrick is here. And he's asking us a bunch of stuff about why we want to know where Sarah is. He wants his same money, the 1,000 from Drew, blah, 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 all this. And unfortunately, though, it's around here Chloe makes the fatal mistake of saying Rachel's name out loud, which clues Damon in to the fact that she's the DA's daughter. So bro pulls out a knife. And Rachel, I think it's best to de-escalate the situation. Okay, never mind. Then this prick stabs Rachel in her arm. And Frank tries to fight off Damon while we take her to the hospital. Rachel's parents get there and James is asking us what happened and to tell the full story. I was being as honest as possible because, I mean, he's the DA. He probably has hella power to get this guy arrested. And after that, we actually see that Steph is here because she's with Mikey visiting Drew. So we can talk to Mr. North, which is the father of the brothers, and have a nice little talk with him and figure out exactly how things are right now. He's had trouble with work, unfortunately. Now Mikey had to be staying in Drew's room currently. It's really tragic and such a sad reality for so many people, unfortunately. But on the bright side, the one kid that we gave back to Drew is really going to help the family a lot. We're inside, we're going to go talk to our crew and just give them a little bit of an update on what happened with Rachel and all that. I really like these guys and I haven't played True Colors yet, but I know Steph is in that game, so I can't wait for that. And here we get another case of Chloe saying what I did not tell her to say.
Hey, sorry for losing it there. It's nice of you to come by.
Yeah, no problem. Easier than you coming to me.
Like, bro, who said that? I did not. Chloe's literally rage baiting me right now, but anyways. I mean, knowing Chloe, she's probably trying to make a joke. I don't think that was the time, muchacho. We head out and make our way to Rachel's room, but on the way there, we can actually hear some pretty disturbing things about Nathan. So his dad is talking to a psychiatrist because Nathan is not really mentally well right now, but oh well, I'm sure it's nothing. So we finally see our girl though, and she's just confiding in us, saying how she feels and how safe she felt with her dad even being around after everything. And Rachel asks us if we can find Sarah for her because she really wants to meet her. She gives us the code to James' office and she drifts off into sleep. Then we're on our way. Okay, never mind. Elliot is here as well, and he's being pretty normal, I guess, asking about Rachel. Then he asks us if we're in some kind of trouble and says he's worried about us. We tell him we're fine, but bro just doesn't want to hear it. We tell him it's not his business and finally make our way out of the hospital. We get back to the Amber's house and look around James' office to see if we can find a way to contact Sarah. We can find emails from Sarah pleading to meet Rachel, and we also find a burner phone with texts from Damon Merrick, the same guy who stabbed Rachel. So yeah, James is working with Damon Merrick and is trying to, quote unquote, get rid of Sarah. We have to basically do what Damon wants right now. We do stuff like burn evidence, tell him who snitched on him, things like that. And we also have his payment, so we have to take that to him. And god dang, does he really need all this money? Listen, bro, my microwave literally just fell apart a couple days ago. I think I need this donation a little bit more. So Damon sends us a picture and we see that Sarah was actually tied up at the mill. So that's the next destination. Someone calls her name and it's Elliot.
We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
Yeah, this guy is a complete weirdo. He followed us over here because he's worried about us. Yeah, right. He's being extremely weird, and we get the classic nice guy lines like, oh, you only pay attention to blank, not me. I care about you, blah, blah, blah. And I truly feel like they put Elliot in this game to show like, this is what a stalker who's feeling ignored would be like. People always said Warren was weird or stalkerish, but never in all his days did he act like this or even come close to acting like this floppy dickwad predator. So we get to use backtalk and try to clue the cops in on what's going on, but he kind of figures out what's happening. But Chloe's a genius and drops a pretty tough line as well.
What the fuck?
Better run, dickbag. Cops will be here any minute.
Then we make our escape. So we head to the mill, and my god, this area looks like Fallout. It looks like a nuke or something hit it. So it's insane to think that all this happened just because Rachel was angry with her dad. Speaking of father, William shows up and reminds us that being a dad isn't easy. And we talk about how if everyone lies, and would you love someone less depending on if they did lie to you. And we get a really sweet moment of Chloe talking with her dad and driving off to face Damon Merrick. We reach the mill and oh nah, there's blood on Frank's RV. Yeah, this isn't looking too fun, honestly. We walk into the mill and arm ourselves with a knife, and we see Damon Merrick in the flesh with Sarah. She's still tied up. We come out of hiding and try to reason with Damon, but he slaps us and takes our knife, so it's over here basically. And this scumbag literally forces the heroin into Sarah's body, which is so disgusting and heartbreaking when you remember that she's been sober for a year. Frank shows up and bro is not looking well. And this is it, the final fight, the climax of the whole story. Chloe gets knocked out, but surely when we wake up, we see what happens, right? Oh, where is everybody? It's only Sarah here, huh? Frank and Damon disappeared and Sarah is free and unbound, so that can only mean one thing really. Yeah, Damon is toast. We talk with Sarah and try to have one final plea to convince her to see her daughter. I know it is actually possible to get her to meet Rachel, but I failed, so my bad. But here you can see that Sarah really does care for Rachel in her own little way, I guess. She's pleading to have us not tell Rachel about what happened because she wants Rachel to still have this good, perfect life or family, even though she doesn't know what really goes on behind the scenes. And then Sarah leaves, never to be seen again. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about this section. I mean, it's the end of the game and the final battle, so to speak. I'm not saying we need a huge fight with guns and explosions, but just getting knocked out and waking up and everything is done feels a bit anticlimactic to me, you know? Let me know what you guys think in the comments though. So we get back to Rachel's hospital room and get some time alone with her, and inevitably she asks us what happened, and we can either tell the truth or lie. Just like the game we played on the train. This is a really nice choice, honestly. I like that. I of course told her the truth because it's what she deserves to know. I don't care if she'd be happier, quote unquote, if she didn't know. She deserves to know that her dad tried to keep her mom away from her and went as far as hiring a wicked criminal like Damon Merrick to do it. I feel like this choice really helps solidify how close Rachel and Chloe were as well. If you tell the truth like I did, then Chloe remains the one person who never lied to Rachel, which is the type of person Chloe always was with her anyways, and it solidifies their bond. And man, there's no words, but the look we see in Rachel's eyes here is heartbreaking, just anger mixed with sadness. Honestly, it's hard to watch. We get an end of the game montage. James is pissed, of course, and we see Frank reminiscing on his friend with a picture of Damon as well. And we also see him pour some of his drink on the ground, which is a pretty common thing people do for friends who've passed. We see David propose to Joyce, Elliot packing his things, thank God, our crew playing D&D, and oh, nope, anyone but him. We'll deal with you in the next game. Then montage part 2 of Rachel and Chloe just living life and having the time of their lives. And Chloe gets her iconic blue hair, actually. And I'm not mad about it. This also does remind me a bit of Solo, for any of my Star Wars fans out there. Like a prequel that shows the backstory of another protagonist and kind of shows off too much about how they got certain stuff. For example, Solo, we see how Han got his name, the Millennium Falcon, and things like that. And then Before the Storm, we see how Chloe gets her hair, her truck, her tattoo. I'm not personally upset by it, but I can understand if you didn't necessarily like that decision. And you also get a post-credit scene of them in a photo booth together, and I won't even say anything else, just listen to my reaction, please. Oh my God, no, y'all are wicked, y'all are so evil. Yo, Deck 9, y'all are some evil people. This scene broke me. But that is Life is Strange Before the Storm. And this is a long video. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't know what to expect really before I played this, but I was not disappointed. I knew it was just a short prequel and I never got my hopes up too much, but I was pleasantly surprised. There were some things I thought will be explored, like Rachel and Frank, for example, but that's just because I went in pretty blind and I'm dumb, so that's not fault on the game, really. But this game is really beautiful and tragic at the same time. Beautiful because, well, we get to see two teens in love and full of excitement, who finally found each other, who finally found people they can trust and be happy with. But then tragic because by the end, they're almost all each other has, depending on if you tell Rachel the truth or not. And then after that, it's just Chloe on her own, as we know Rachel's fate. And it's even sadder when you realize Rachel fell into the same path of destruction as her mother, falling into drugs and being around not good people like Frank and hell, even Jefferson. It was such a sad tale, but we don't play games because of how it'll end. Yeah, that's pretty important, but we're mostly here for the journey. Maybe the real Life is Strange was the friends you made along the way. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry it's so long again. Feel free to like or subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. We're growing so fast, it's crazy. My last video, I was at like 70 something subs, and now it's 93 when I'm recording this. I really appreciate every single one of you, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being you. Have a great day, guys. Stay hydrated. Stay loving. Peace.
Rachel?
I was just thinking. Maybe I was wrong before. Who cares if the stars are dead? As long as we can still see them, that means they're real. To us. Right?
Right.